Hey everybody, welcome to Monday, and quick update. Yes, I got all the boss fight stuff out, the mailing stuff out last week, so yay. There's still a few things coming digitally, but that is officially done. So within the next 4 weeks, unless you live in some far-flung place, expect to be getting your stuff. If you haven't been getting it already, a bunch of people should have received their stuff today. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about Blizzard replacing images of women in World of Warcraft with fruit bowls. This may not seem like big stuff, but hear me out. If you like this kind of video, help support this channel. Become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. Okay, so I am still not at full strength. So maybe this is why I was just like, about this whole thing. Intellectually, I'm pissed off about this, but in my gut, it's just so expected. So expected from Blizzard and the gaming industry at this point to confuse something on a wall in a game that is an object with the treatment of actual living, breathing people in the real world. And this is not, notice I said people. This is not just women. I think we'd all be doing a lot better in this industry if we recognized that a company that shamelessly mistreats any single group of people is probably mistreating all their employees in some way, shape, or form. Keep that in mind when we talk about this. I wish that was more of a thing. Okay, I wish that was more of an understood thing. But it's not. So here we go. So there was a patch late last week, and it did little changes like taking a portrait that looked like a regal kind of magical sorceress looking down her nose at somebody and turned it into, I don't know what this is, Mayim Bialik costume reject from Jeopardy. Like, they didn't just cover up the chest area. They changed your face. And it goes from something that actually says something about the environment to, like I said, Mayim Bialik hosting Jeopardy. Okay, but that's not the one everybody went, over, though I will maintain that taking an image of an obviously powerful woman and changing, if you want to change the neckline, fine, but they changed her facial expression as well, and that says so much that this isn't just about robbing women of cleavage. There's a power issue. There's a discomfort with powerful women going on here, but this is the one that everybody kind of went about. There's a really tame art homage image of a woman lying on her side, and you can kind of see her navel, but not her face, and not much of anything else, and they replaced it with a bowl of fruit. A bowl of fruit. Because it is so much the same thing, an image of, a woman. Who is she? How does this connect? What does this say about this room, with a bowl of fruit? Because they're totally the same thing. They're totally the same thing, right? They totally say the exact same thing. This background stuff, it's not just placeholder stuff. Thought went into this until it didn't. Now, this isn't the first time World of Warcraft has nerfed something like this. They stupidly changed Jaina's outfit in early 2019. I don't know what happened there. I'm sure there was something that caused panic there, but they actually kind of wrecked this outfit for me. Okay, I don't find First of all, when this is supposed to be armor and it doesn't protect the vital organs around the midsection, it's already stupid. Putting a modesty panel here, but not actually offering protection where it matters. That means that giant ass pauldron is just gonna get in the way. And this does absolutely nothing. It destroys the whole line of the outfit, right? Like, no one would wear this. No woman would wear this. If you're gonna wear something like this, you're gonna go all in, right? You're not gonna go, oh, like, when I bend over, I show ass crack, but I'm gonna totally cover up my cleavage here. This is the kind of stuff that actually doesn't make things more female friendly. It actually insults women's intelligence. And what I find interesting is that this whole Blizzard thing is causing Kotaku to have this sort of existential crisis, that all of a sudden, instead of them being, you know, the Tropes versus Women's PR agency, okay, all of a sudden they're running headlines like this: Blizzard reduces titty in World of Warcraft, but not sexism at the company. No, they didn't actually reduce titty, Kotaku. Even when you're trying to get it right, you get it wrong. They didn't remove titty. They removed images of women. Like, there was navel. There was no real cleavage in that fruit bowl thing. Titty, not woman. Woman have titty, titty not woman. And this ridiculous clickbaity headline at Kotaku actually accidentally gets to the core of what the problem is here, is that too many people in the video game industry are still treating titty and women like they're the same thing. And instead of recognizing that the goal, the ideal where we're supposed to be moving towards is that women, everybody, but in this case women, should be respected regardless of what they're wearing, unless, you know, even if somebody does something awful, you still respect them as a human being, right? You do not objectify anybody, which is what you do when you decide, oh, why don't we replace this picture of a woman lying on her side with a bowl of fruit? Same thing. Now, granted, it is a picture and a picture. However, holy shit. Repeat after me. Women, not titty. Women have titties. Women, not titty. This should be simple. People making decisions at major gaming outlets and at video game companies are in a lot of trouble right now, still don't understand this. And this is basic. This is something that gamers that have objected to the nerfing of cleavage, boobs and butts, let's face it, for a while now, this is what they've been objecting to. We know that we look but don't touch. We know that just because a woman is dressed sexually doesn't mean she's less worthy of respect. In fact, a lot of these women, as I dealt with on Boss Fight, have a lot of respect from gamers because of what they do in the game, and their overt sexuality is a symbol of their power, not an idea that you can treat them like crap. Yeah, the fact that rank and file gamers have been taking crap for this stuff for years, and they've been saying, you know, pretty much exactly what you'd like them to say. And I maintain, even though people have not figured out how to advocate their position effectively yet, and so sometimes the things some gamers say sound terrible when they're freaking out about nerfing boobs. But if you actually talk to them, they do know how to have a conversation with a woman as an individual and treat her with respect whether or not she has boobs. I mean, I have a little tiny bit of cleavage here. Does that mean I'm a fruit bowl? Does that mean there's something wrong with me? Does that mean my opinion has no merit? No, then why are they removing these images that have been in the games for years? I mean, this was like vanilla WoW content. Okay, I think. It's been in the game for a while, so why are you going back? A lot the vanilla WoW guys are like pretty much gone. They've all moved on to other things. So those guys, for the most part, weren't the problem. I've worked with some of those guys. They are great. A lot of the issues with Activision are the people that came in, with Blizzard when they were like the shit. They were like the big deal, and they acted like assholes, as so many companies do, so many employees at companies do when they're the big shit. I mean, God, Bungie circa Halo 2, Halo 3 was fucking insufferable to deal with. Everybody has their turn, right? I will say I've been continually impressed by how gracious the God of War devs have been about everything. No matter what sort of the fortunes of their game were, that matters. And I see that, and that game didn't need game journalists to make up awards so it could be the most awarded game ever. People just legit like the game. Yeah, we need new people who are thought leaders about this stuff. We need people who recognize that, Blizzard reduces titty in World of Warcraft, but not sexism at the company it's clickbait. Yeah, that headline's not helping. Okay, it's really not in the context of this story when they didn't just take out tits, they took out an entire woman. I can't stress this enough. If it's just the cleavage, then you can say they took out titty. But they changed one woman's face and they turned another woman into a bowl of fruit. That isn't about boobs anymore. That's about, it's a woman, get it away, it's bad. Blizzard's gotten no better. Now, the interesting little nugget in the Kotaku story that I'm like, see, I can be objective, but this little thing was buried in the story with Titty in the headline, okay? Employees of Activision Blizzard file unfair labor practice charge against the gaming company. Note, this was last week, okay? Workers at Activision Blizzard, Activision King, I guess, King Gaming, it's across, I guess it owns King now, but the Communication Workers of America filed unfair labor practice charges against the company for worker intimidation and union busting. Apparently, Activision Blizzard King workers launched a Better ABK on July 23rd as a strategic organizing effort to unite developers behind a shared set of concerns. Employees use their social media platforms to organize with one another and share their demands to the world, including fans, fellow game developers, and consumers. Instead of responding to these demands, Activision Blizzard management is using coercive tactics to attempt to prevent its employees from exercising their rights to stand together and demand a more equitable, sustainable, and diverse workplace. It is their right as workers to organize for a work environment free from abuse, discrimination, and sexual harassment, and this right is protected by federal labor law. So Kotaku's decided to write a headline about Titty when they have this, burying this. If they had used a sensational headline to really promote this and let people know, no guys, they're still doing it. They're actually using coercive tactics against their employees, now. I would excuse the clickbait. But they didn't. It was buried. I found this by going here and then Just this week, the employee advocacy group A Better ABK filed its own lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for coercing organizers, hiring union-busting firms, and surveilling workers over legally protected labor activities. So that's the third paragraph. So it's not the end, it's not the beginning, it's buried. Why don't we see more about that if you're going to use Titty as clickbait? Because it's Kotaku. And because Kotaku is part of the problem. Because Kotaku will not hire people that aren't part of this hive mind thinking, this collectivism that there's a right or wrong answer when it comes to depictions of women in video games, and the stupid modesty panel is clearly the right answer, right? Like, Kotaku's drunk the Kool-Aid on that one. I forgot to turn lights on. That's why the lighting's so weird. But this isn't helping. This isn't informing people about what the issue actually is. It's getting clicks based on the mistreatment of real life people. Because this isn't just women anymore. This is all employees at Blizzard. And like I said, you see a place that mistreats women or black people or Asians or Latinos, very likely they're mistreating everybody somehow that they can. But Kotaku is just benefiting from the scandal. They're not actually doing anything to educate people on how to do things better, how to actually move towards something that is more respectful for women. Because referring to women as titty, when what they actually did was replaced a whole woman with a bowl of fruit and changed a woman's face as well as her chest, is part of the same spectrum of problem, right? There should be no problem with cleavage in games. There should be no problem with women who show cleavage in games. There should be no problem with women and men being bare-ass naked in games for adults. Because the people consuming the content should recognize that all people deserve respect no matter what they're wearing. And until we get that straight, and until we recognize that people are not their body parts, those body parts belong to those people are not defined by their body parts. Until we get there, and until we recognize, no, you don't get to, for instance, call someone okay with sexism, Anita Sarkeesian, just because I don't have an issue with any depiction of a woman in games, unless it's like ham-handed and crappy and not well done, right? But you guys know I'm equal opportunity with characters I think ham-handed or crappy and not well done. Like, I range the cup sizes in terms of me going, no, this character's poorly handled. That's what it should be. That's what equality looks like. That's what a just workplace looks like. Because you know what my attitude is? If a woman wants to come to work on a hot day at one of these companies and shows a little bit of cleavage, or, so what? She shouldn't get busted for it's distracting. She shouldn't be whispered about behind her back. And companies that promote this idea that there's somehow a problem, men are expected to lose their minds if they see cleavage or navel or a bit of ass cheek. This idea that men just can't control themselves. That has to be stripped out of everything because men can't control themselves. Well, that's a problem both for women in terms of restriction of freedoms, but it's also just damn insulting and unfair to men. Like, no, men who can control themselves around sexy women should not be considered aberrant. Men who can't control themselves around sexy women should not be treated as the norm. Guys who have trouble with that, they should be discovered and removed early. They shouldn't be enabled by these workplace practices. Oh, strip all the distractions away, strip all the temptation away. No. That's going backward. If you got a guy who's a problem, find out early and get rid of him early. Same thing. If there's a woman who's a problem, find out early and get rid of them early. And any other gender, any other combination of genders or no gender, if someone's a problem, find out early, get rid of them. And you can't do that if you sanitize the workplace, if you sanitize the work of art you're working on. That's not, my God, as somebody who, has done this kind of stuff, if it's kind of a freewheeling and very open and very relaxed environment and everybody's cool with each other and people don't freak out over bodies, if you've got to do something that involves full or partial nudity, it's not weird. It's just part of the job. It's like, whoop, And when I was on those sets, I tried to set that example so that not only was it comfortable for me, but it was comfortable for the other people on the set who had to do that kind of work. But if it's all, dress appropriately and be respectful, well, you feel extremely self-conscious when you have to violate those norms because it's your job. Do you get what I'm saying? We choose in who we associate with and how we associate, what we determine is normal and what we determine is okay. And if you need people, even people showing up in those like ridiculous damn motion capture suits, I feel more damn naked in a motion capture suit than I feel actually naked, because those things are fucking ugly. They give you roles you don't have. They're so unflattering. They make my legs look so damn short and my ass look big in a bad way. And they're just, I feel like a frog. Like, no insult to frogs, but like, and the funny thing is game companies tend to kind of make fun of them, and that just makes you more self-conscious, quite frankly. Facial scanning, not a fun process. It's ugly until they clean it up. Motion capture, ugly. They're just ugly suits. And, there are more and less professional ways of handling things like this. Gaming companies across the board need to get better with this stuff. And the only way to do that is to hire people who've actually done this kind of work. They won't, because we woman wrong. And we're reduced to titty. And we're okay with sexism. Instead of actually listening to us, because we're the ones that have been right all along. And these are the companies that have been tisk in public and then covering up their own bad behavior. And I'll leave it there. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK. Thanks for watching.